You're about to confront a truth most men spend their entire lives avoiding, not because it's complicated, but because it shatters everything they thought they understood about women. See, you've been told that desire is built through logic, through explanations, through proving you're a good man. But here's the brutal, hidden reality: a woman doesn't respond to your logic, she responds to the part of you that you don't control. Before she hears your words, before she analyzes your intentions, before she decides if she even likes you, her unconscious mind has already scanned you, measured you, and placed you in a category you don't even know exists. And this is where almost every man loses the game. Because while you're trying to be understood, she's testing your gravity. While you're explaining yourself, she's measuring your reactions. While you're trying to show her why you're worthy, her body is asking a much simpler question: does this man's presence move me? Not impress me. Not comfort me. Not convince me. Move me. That's the part modern men ignore, the biological intensity that governs feminine desire long before the first word is spoken. You think attraction is a negotiation. But to her, attraction is a collision between your energy and her instinct. And here's the uncomfortable truth: most men repel women not because they're unattractive, but because they're emotionally visible. Too predictable. Too safe. Too available. Too eager to fill every silence with explanation, instead of letting silence expose their strength. You're about to learn the one principle that separates the men she forgets from the men she obsesses over: the feminine desires what it cannot immediately decode. Not chaos, but controlled tension. Not arrogance, but unshakable presence. Not loud dominance, but quiet authority. What you're about to hear will change the way you communicate, the way you carry yourself, the way women feel you the moment you walk into a room. Welcome to the psychology they never wanted you to understand. Now the game begins. To truly grasp the magnitude of this, you must first accept that you have been programmed with a faulty operating system. Society, culture, and the modern narrative spoon-fed to you from birth have installed a defective code. This code tells you to be agreeable, to be transparent, to seek consensus, and to place a woman's comfort above all else. This programming is meticulously designed to create stable, predictable, manageable citizens. It is not, and was never, designed to create raw, undeniable attraction. In fact, it is the very antithesis of it. You have been taught to approach desire as if it were a democratic process, a polite negotiation between two equal parties who will logically and reasonably arrive at a mutually beneficial outcome. But her desire is not a democracy. It is a ruthless, ancient dictatorship ruled by her limbic system. This primal, reptilian part of her brain, the same core that governs fight or flight, hunger, and raw survival, is the sole, unimpeachable gatekeeper to her attraction. It does not speak your language of reason. It does not understand your carefully crafted arguments, your 5-year plan, or your bulleted list of noble qualities. It speaks a language far older and more potent, a language of energy, of nonverbal cues, of instinctual threat and profound safety. Your attempts to communicate with her conscious, logical mind, her neocortex, are like trying to run advanced quantum computing software on a machine from 1,000,000 years ago. The hardware simply does not recognize the code. Her primal brain is running a single, continuous, and unforgiving diagnostic: is this man a rock, or is he a leaf? Is he the stable, unmovable center around which her world can safely spin, or will he be tossed about, helpless, by the first unpredictable gust of wind? Every interaction, every word, every moment of silence, every challenge she consciously or unconsciously presents is nothing more than a data point for this relentless diagnostic. And the very moment her system detects that you are a leaf, anxious, reactive, desperately seeking her approval to know which way you should blow, the attraction circuit is not just turned off, it is severed with the cold, indifferent precision of a surgeon. She may still like you, she may even love you as a friend, but the polarity that ignites desire is dead. This is the hidden reason why the quintessential, good man, so often finishes last, bewildered and resentful. He brings his carefully prepared resume of good intentions to a primal battlefield where only demonstrated strength is currency. He attempts to prove his worth by being endlessly accommodating, by apologizing for his own opinions before he even states them, by filling every pregnant pause with nervous, meaningless chatter. He operates from a deep-seated, often unconscious fear of her disapproval, and this fear leaks out of him in 1,000 subtle, yet palpable, ways. His posture is slightly collapsed, a subconscious physical apology for taking up space. His eye contact is fleeting, a silent admission that he cannot hold the tension of a direct gaze. His laughter is a little too quick, a little too eager to please. He is a walking, talking, breathing broadcast of a single, desperate message: please like me. Please validate my existence. Please tell me I am enough. Her unconscious mind, a master decoder of such signals, picks up this broadcast not as kindness, but as profound weakness. It registers him as emotionally subordinate. And the feminine, by its very nature, by the immutable laws of energetic polarity, cannot and will not desire what it feels superior to. It craves, on a cellular level, a presence that feels more solid, more centered, and more unshakable than its own. This isn't a modern preference, it is a biological imperative etched into her DNA. For millennia upon millennia, a woman's survival, and more importantly, the survival of her offspring, was directly correlated with her ability to select a mate who could remain calm, resourceful, and effective under extreme pressure. A man who panicked at the first sign of a predator, who crumbled during a famine, or who capitulated to a rival tribe was not just a liability, he was a death sentence. That ancient, life-or-death software is still running, silently and powerfully, in the mind of every single woman you will ever meet. She is subconsciously testing your emotional resilience, not because she is cruel or malicious, but because her deepest instincts, the very blueprint of her being, command her to. She needs to know, with a certainty that transcends words, if your calm is genuine or if it is a fragile mask that will shatter at the first sign of real trouble. She needs to know if you are the mountain, or just another storm that will pass, leaving nothing but debris in its wake. Let's dissect the fundamental physics of this dynamic, a concept often referred to as polarity. Think of masculine and feminine energy as the two opposing poles of a powerful magnet. When these poles are strong, distinct, and separate, a powerful, invisible, and highly charged force field is generated between them. This field is what we call chemistry, tension, the spark, desire. It is an almost tangible energy that pulls the two poles together. The masculine pole, in its archetypal form, is defined by presence, direction, purpose, logic, and unshakability. It is the unwavering, solid container. The feminine pole, in its archetypal form, is defined by flow, emotion, radiance, creativity, and chaos. It is the wild, beautiful, and untamed energy that moves within the container. The tragedy of the modern man is that, in his desperate, misguided quest to be liked and to avoid conflict, he relinquishes his masculine polarity. When she brings the storm of her emotions, her bad moods, her doubts, her fears, her seemingly irrational challenges, he abandons his sacred duty as the container and becomes the chaos itself. He gets swept up in her drama. He becomes anxious when she is distant, defensive when she is provocative, and desperate for resolution when she is uncertain. The two distinct poles collapse into one. The magnet loses its charge. The energetic field that once crackled with desire dissipates into a bland, comfortable neutrality. He has successfully become her friend, her brother, her confidant, but he has irrevocably ceased to be her man. A woman does not want you to mirror her emotional state, that is the job of her girlfriends. From her man, she wants a presence so stable, a container so strong, that she can experience the full, terrifying, beautiful spectrum of her own emotions without the fear of breaking him or driving him away. Your emotional stability is the most profound, unspoken gift you can ever give her. It is the invisible frame that allows her to be the masterpiece of living art she was born to be. When you are the mountain, she has the freedom to be the weather in all its glory, a gentle sunrise, a soft rain, a raging hurricane. But if you, the mountain, begin to tremble and shake with every gust of her wind, she will instinctively feel profoundly unsafe and will be forced to seek a stronger, more solid mountain to anchor her reality. This isn't about becoming an emotionless robot or repressing your feelings. It is about achieving emotional discipline. It's the critical difference between feeling a powerful emotion and being completely possessed and controlled by it. The man who has mastered this holds his own center, not as a performance for her, but as a non-negotiable standard for himself. His peace is his own, and it is not available for negotiation. This brings us to the true nature of her seemingly contradictory and often frustrating behavior, her tests. Every time a woman pulls away, challenges your decision, questions your opinion, or creates a moment of friction, she is subconsciously probing for the boundaries of your reality. She is throwing a stone against the wall of your frame to see if it rings with the solid tone of authenticity or crumbles into the dust of insecurity. The average, uninitiated man fails these tests so spectacularly it's almost poetic in its tragedy. When she is provocative, perhaps with a backhanded compliment or a challenge to his authority, he becomes defensive and argumentative. He immediately engages in a logical battle, desperately trying to prove her wrong, thus signaling that her words alone have the power to destabilize his entire ego. He has just shown her that her reality can effortlessly overwrite his. Test comprehensively failed. When she withdraws and becomes distant, perhaps taking longer to reply to texts or seeming preoccupied, he panics. His insecurity floods his system, and he begins to chase. He sends a barrage of texts: "Is everything okay? Did I do something wrong? Are you mad at me?" He has just screamed to her that his internal emotional state is entirely dependent on her constant validation and approval. Test comprehensively failed. When he makes a simple decision, like choosing a restaurant, and she questions it with a simple, "Are you sure? I heard that place isn't very good," he immediately hesitates, backpedals, and seeks her approval. "Oh, okay, well, where do you want to go?" He has just demonstrated a profound lack of conviction and a distrust in his own direction. Test comprehensively failed. In each and every one of these scenarios, he has communicated the same fatal, attraction-destroying message: "You are the center of my universe. Your opinion of me is more important than my own opinion of myself. I need your reality to anchor mine." The rare man, the man who understands this silent, subterranean language, responds with an entirely different energy. He meets her tests not with panicked reaction, but with a calm, sometimes even amused, presence. He recognizes them for what they are, not a personal attack, but an instinctual search for strength. When she is provocative, he might meet her challenge with a playful, knowing smirk, a moment of unbroken, intense eye contact, or by completely changing the subject, all of which communicate with perfect clarity: "Your attempt to rattle my frame is entertaining, but ultimately, and completely, ineffective." He is not angry or defensive, he is simply unshaken. The power dynamic flips in an instant. His refusal to be drawn into her emotional frame establishes his own as the stronger, more dominant reality. Her provocation, intended as a weapon to find his weakness, becomes a tool that only serves to reveal and amplify his strength. This non-reaction is not a passive behavior, it is an active, powerful demonstration of supreme inner control. It speaks directly to her primal brain, telling it, in a language it cannot misinterpret: "Here is the rock. Here is the man who can be trusted with my vulnerability. Here is the calm in the absolute center of the storm." This is the alchemical process that transforms a woman's fleeting interest into a deep, visceral, often obsessive fascination. She has finally found something exceedingly rare and infinitely valuable, a man whose peace is not for sale at any price. Now, let us speak of the silent killer of all attraction, the anesthetic of desire: predictability. The human brain is, at its core, a novelty-seeking machine. It is biologically wired to pay intense attention to what is new, uncertain, and surprising. This is a direct line from our survival instincts. The unexpected rustle in the bushes could be a predator, so we are hardwired to investigate the unknown with heightened awareness. This mechanism is supercharged to an extreme degree when it comes to romantic attraction. The field of neuroscience has shown us that dopamine, the powerful neurotransmitter associated with pleasure, reward, and motivation, is released not just upon receiving a reward, but in powerful surges of anticipation of it. And its release is most potent, most intoxicating, when the reward is uncertain or intermittent. The man who is completely and utterly predictable is a man who offers zero anticipation. He is a closed loop. He texts, "Good morning beautiful," every day at 8:01 a.m. He is always available to hang out at a moment's notice. He agrees with every opinion she expresses. He reveals his entire life story, all his hopes, fears, and traumas, on the very first date. He is a movie whose ending is not just given away in the first 5 minutes, but is printed on the ticket stub. Her brain, receiving no stimulus of uncertainty, no thrill of the chase, no mystery to unravel, produces no dopamine. There is no emotional reward for engaging with him. He has become emotionally beige, as stimulating as a bowl of lukewarm oatmeal. The man who understands this dynamic cultivates an aura of controlled unpredictability. This is not about being a chaotic, unreliable flake, or worse, an asshole. That is the amateur's interpretation. This is about being a man of such substance and depth that he does not, and cannot, reveal all his cards at once. His interest in her is genuine and shown, but it is not a constant, suffocating firehose of validation. His presence is powerful and intoxicating, but it is not guaranteed. He has a life, a purpose, a mission that is, in the grand scheme of things, more important to him than any single woman. His schedule is not always open. His phone is not always glued to his hand. He can be intensely, radically present with her one moment, making her feel like the only woman in the world, and then completely absorbed in his own world, his own work, his own pursuits the next. This dynamic creates the powerful psychological principle of intermittent reinforcement, which behavioral psychologists have identified as the single most powerful motivator of behavior. She never knows exactly when the next reward, his attention, his presence, his praise, is coming. This uncertainty creates a powerful, addictive open loop in her mind. She begins to think about him, to wonder about him, when he is not there. She replays their interactions, trying to decipher his intentions, trying to figure him out. He has become a captivating mystery she feels compelled to solve, and her brain floods with dopamine in the process of this mental pursuit. He is no longer just a man she is dating, he has become an adventure, an obsession. He has understood the most profound and closely guarded secret of desire. It does not flourish in the placid, well-lit garden of certainty. It grows wild and strong in the dark, mysterious, and tantalizing forest of what might be. This entire framework, every concept we have discussed, rests upon a single, unshakable, and non-negotiable foundation: absolute self-mastery. The behaviors, the mindsets, the powerful communication styles we have dissected are not a series of clever tricks to be performed or lines to be memorized. They are the natural, effortless, and authentic expression of a man who has first conquered his own inner world. You cannot fake presence if you are internally riddled with anxiety. You cannot fake non-reaction if your ego is as fragile as a robin's egg. You cannot fake a purpose-driven life if you have no purpose. The feminine is an exquisitely sensitive, high-fidelity mirror, and it will reflect your true internal state back to you with brutal, unerring, and often painful accuracy. If you are seeking a woman to complete you, to be the source of your happiness, your confidence, and your validation, she will feel this energetic void within you as a tangible weight. It will feel like a burden to her, a black hole of neediness that threatens to drain her of her own vibrant life force. The truly, deeply attractive man is a man who has already done the hard work of making himself whole. His happiness, his self-worth, his confidence, and his sense of purpose are generated internally, a self-sustaining fusion reaction at his core. He does not need her, which is precisely and paradoxically why she feels an uncontrollable desire for him. This is the great, immutable paradox of attraction that most men will never understand: the more you demonstrably need a woman, the less she will desire you. And the less you need her for your own emotional survival, the more she will find herself inexplicably drawn into your powerful gravitational field. Your neediness is a clear signal of a weak internal reality. Your self-sufficiency is a signal of an incredibly strong one. Therefore, the real work is not on your game with women. That is focusing on the shadow on the wall. The real work is on the object casting the shadow, you. It is in finding a mission or purpose that sets your soul on fire, something so compelling that it gets you out of bed in the morning with ferocious energy. It is in building a body that you are proud to inhabit, one that is strong, healthy, and capable. It is in cultivating a mind that is disciplined, clear, and resilient. It is in facing your own demons, your own traumas, and integrating your own shadow. It is in becoming the kind of man you yourself would deeply admire and respect. When you are truly on your path, when you are so consumed with building your own kingdom, be it a kingdom of business, of art, of knowledge, or of character, your interactions with women change on a fundamental, energetic level. You are no longer approaching them as a humble supplicant, begging for a crumb of attention from the royal court. You are the king, graciously and powerfully allowing them to enter your world, to experience your reality for a time. The energy is completely, irrevocably different. It is calm, it is powerful, it is gravitational. You stop playing the exhausting game of chasing women, because you have finally, truly realized that you are the prize. And that is the ultimate frame, the one that makes all other techniques and tactics obsolete. It is the silent, powerful, and undeniable broadcast that says, with every fiber of your being, I am enough. So, as we conclude this deep dive, understand this fundamental shift. The journey to becoming a man who is effortlessly and powerfully attractive to women is not about learning what to say. It is about becoming the man who doesn't need to say much at all. It is about shifting your focus away from the external, her reactions, her approval, her validation, and turning it inward, to the only thing you can ever truly control, your own center, your own purpose, your own emotional discipline. It is about understanding, on a gut level, that her desire is not a logical choice she makes in her conscious mind, but a primal, biological response she has in her body. She responds to strength. She responds to presence. She responds to the man whose reality is so solid, so compelling, and so unshakable that it pulls her into his orbit as if by a law of physics. She responds to the man who is the mountain in her storm, the unwavering container for her beautiful chaos. She responds to the mystery, to the man who makes her feel, not just think. This is not about manipulation or becoming someone you are not. It is the exact opposite. It is about awakening the most powerful, authentic, and grounded version of yourself that already lies dormant within you. It is about becoming a man of such profound and integrated self-mastery that his very presence is a force of nature. When you achieve this, you will no longer have to ask what a woman wants. You will have become the answer. The principles laid out here are the beginning, the map to a vast and powerful territory most men will never have the courage or the guidance to explore. If you are tired of being a confused spectator in your own life, tired of feeling powerless and frustrated in your interactions, and ready to embark on the real, challenging, and ultimately rewarding journey of becoming the man you were always meant to be, then the next step is to acquire the tools and the blueprint. We have systematized this hidden psychology, breaking down these core concepts of presence, polarity, tension, and self-mastery into a step-by-step framework designed for radical and permanent transformation. This is not about memorizing lines, it's about rewiring your entire masculine operating system from the ground up. To stop guessing what women want and start understanding, embodying, and becoming what they respond to on a deep, biological level, click the link in the description. This is your formal initiation into the world they never wanted you to understand. The game is waiting. It's time for you to become the master of it.